It is Monday morning. We are in the first grow hour on purpose. And I love kicking off the week hearing, how did you grow this weekend? I would love for anyone to share, like, what was something that really stands out from the weekend that you felt growth in? Where were you actively building in throughout your weekend? Or any special moments that you want to share? Would love to hear from anyone that would like to jump in and share about your weekend, any moments or growth opportunities that came your way this weekend.
Well, I guess one for me in the parenting department is, so I dropped my oldest off at college on Thursday, and I really just left it in his hands to reach out to me when he was ready. And even though I wanted to be like, "Hey, how's it going? What's going on? Tell me," I really just remained in, let him reach out to me when he is ready, and he will do so. And he called me this morning to fill me in on the Gold Rush weekend and everything that goes on. So I'm really proud of myself for just stepping back and letting him do his thing.
Wow, that is a huge growth opportunity, right? For your child that you have raised beautifully to make the decisions on his own. And for you as a parent, that's your first to have the opportunity to step back and say, trusting yourself, trusting, that you have done what he needs and that he knows he can, reach out when he's ready. That's awesome. Celebrating that with you. That's a huge milestone. For any parent, but just to hear that, I'm like, oh, that's so great. And it makes me think about like my mom, how often I don't call her, and that it makes me want to, when I think of her, I want to pick up the phone more. So that's a great reminder to do that.
And it makes moms feel so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I'm calling my growth the weekend is Saturday. I just felt like I needed to have a lazy day. I didn't have anything scheduled, so I just laid around all day Saturday, even though there were things that I should have got done. I think that the fact that I didn't, oh my God, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, and then just took a day where I just didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think that's huge because there's always stuff that we could get up and do. Our lists are never ending, and to give yourself the opportunity to say, I'm gonna take the time and relax and refresh so that the list will be there tomorrow. Sometimes we really need that reset button to say, sit still and be with yourself for a little bit, especially since you mentioned your house was a little freed up. So that's awesome. That's a huge growth opportunity to say, I'm gonna do this, and you did it. So I love that. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, we are at 10 after. We will go do our intentions, and I will see those of you back at 10 too. Have fun and be productive. Yes, we have 8 magic minutes to really mastermind. And I know Lisa and Sister B got to share about their nuggets from the weekend. And let's see, so a growth opportunity for me this weekend was kind of like giving myself permission to just go with the flow of when timing for everyone else. So I was at an event, everyone kind of came at different times, and generally I would be kind of on edge about like, well, what's happening? Why is this not on time? And like that kind of stuff. And I just gave myself permission to do what me and my family were there to do, which was connect with the people that were there. And that was nice. So I was thinking in this time that we were working too about, how both of you shared about, I felt like it was like permission to just like let things be and to just kind of see how they unfold and see what comes from it. And like in our own time, which I think that was actually a discussion last week. I was in a class and the topic was about permission. giving ourselves permission to XYZ, whatever it is. And I just find it interesting how often, we really need to celebrate when we give ourselves that space to kind of just let things happen instead of working on the control of everything and keeping it all buttoned up, or feeling like it's all safe, and giving that space for growth, I think is super important. And I wanted to open it up to any other conversation around, letting that space really happen and giving things air to breathe. And, generally it's ourselves and what we, feel like we have to do, we must go do. And sometimes it's letting things have that space to breathe in order to see what else comes through in those opportunities. So does anything stir for you that's on here that we can have a conversation around that? Sister B, I see you're on mute. What's up?
Yeah, what stirs up for me around that is I'm reading a book, and it just talked a lot about us trusting our knowing as women. And I think that kind of runs side by side with that, being able to let it breathe. Like, we have been in culture and in just all of that, been taught not to trust our knowing, or trust the source to let it unfold. So a big piece that comes up for me is that trust, and we can trust in things to happen, and we can trust in things to unfold, and we can trust that the answer is inside when we choose to go in and look for it, and trust that it will be what it will be, and we can let that happen, and we don't have to control it.
Yeah. Can I ask, what is the book that you're reading?
Untamed by Glennon Doyle.
Okay.
Good book. Good book. It is a book that really makes a woman, especially a woman that is driven, I feel like, or has those desires inside, that you really feel heard. You know what I mean? Like, you feel heard. So I would definitely recommend it.
Love
Yeah.
that. Love that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a huge thing, especially like you said, as women, the letting things happen. But also, right, we do what we can, and then it's, the result is going to be what it is or not. And it's all in perfect timing.
Yeah.
And what a
sorry.
great reminder.
Yeah. And in that, so if you are in trust and you can trust yourself, then you don't need to control. So it alluded to that, is where when we control, we're not trusting.
Yeah. Walking in that faith to really trust that we've made the right decisions up until this point, that we can take the day on a Saturday and say, screw it, I'm gonna just relax, and I'm gonna let that to do that never ending to-do list of whatever it is that we think we must get up and do, that we can let those things be and leave the control behind in those situations. And that does give us the energy to come with a fresh mindset to say, okay, now it's not forcing, it's not controlling, like, oh, I don't want to do it. Well, maybe there's a reason that you don't want to do it. Maybe it's that your body needs the rest, your mind needs the rest. And when we go against the grain on those things, that's when health declines, when, the things that we're forcing ourselves to do, they're no longer serving us. So we're going to still feel probably unfulfilled in making ourselves do something we really don't want to do. And it's affecting your health, your mental health or your physical health, whichever way you're going about it. Because we do need that time and space to rest our mind and our bodies before we are just burnt out and just totally overwhelmed and pull the plug on stuff. That's where I think, as a society, we just go, and kind of get on autopilot with just the momentum of rolling down a hill, and we just think we can't stop and slow down and take that breath and give things air to just happen. And it's a really great reminder that That's how growth happens. We need to give it time to actually, grow and develop from what we need.
Unfold.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Lisa, anything else coming in through for you on this topic? No.
No, not especially.
Okay, cool. Well, I love this conversation. I think it's really a great reminder to just listen to yourself, which, Suze, we like to say our GPS, our gut, our purpose, our soul, and just really like trust yourself in what you need and what your body needs, and move or slow down to what it's telling you. And, the list will always be there. It'll always be growing. There's more things to do, but we need to put ourselves at the very top of that list in trusting our instinct. So great reminder. Thank you for that. Okay, we're going to pause here. Okay, so we're at the beginning of the second hour in Grow. And I'll share really quickly, because maybe this is something we can mastermind fully about at the end, which is a huge growth opportunity that I took part in over the last year, was the 75 Hard program. Well, actually, it's the Live Hard program, and 75 Hard is the challenge that you accept and complete, and then move into 3 other phases throughout a year cycle of mental toughness and challenging yourself to do what you said you were going to do and stick to it. So this was a huge growth opportunity that I successfully did last year. There was a couple other people that did it around the same times, not totally in sync on the whole thing, which was also another mindset challenge to finish it strong on your own and all of that. But that was a conversation because I'm restarting it, knowing that it was something that served my growth and who I am and my mindset so well that I've been out of it for a couple months and I feel it. And I know that I need to get back into it. So I'm re-challenging myself to say, get back into the mental toughness challenge, because I'm someone that thrives on a challenge and saying, this is what I'm going to do. I do need structure because I love freedom. But if I have too much freedom, it's debilitating to me a lot. So structure that serves me well, I will go back to, and this is something that I'm doing. So I'd love to know, anyone that's watching this on the replay, if you've ever heard of the 75 Hard Challenge, if you've completed it, if you've thought that's crazy. That was me. I thought it was crazy the first time I saw it, said no. And then when it was the right time, I revisited it and went for it. And then I continued throughout the whole year with the phases and did it for the year. So really great opportunity for growth and personal development with your mindset. So, we will open it up. If anyone knows a challenge or anything that served you really well with your growth, is there anything that you have thought of, or if you have personally taken it, any thoughts before we go do our intentions?
It changed my life. It changed my life. I would recommend it to anybody. I'm not a hardcore exerciser either. So people think they go straight to the hour and a half of exercise a day. I am not an exerciser. So I do yoga, I walk, I ride my bike, and now I swim. And it has it is mental toughness. It really has nothing to do with, it does have stuff to do with your physical, but I went into it for mental toughness, and it has changed the way I think. It has changed my time management. Although this morning, so I'm not currently on it, I'm done. We were talking about overthinking, and it does that whole freedom. I'm a structure person too. Like I like free time. I don't need to be like totally do. But it helps to keep me grounded. And I would say the structure keeps me grounded in what I need to get done, what I priority need to get done.
Yeah, it kind of gives you a place. It gives you like a placeholder of like where to be, like when you have that time freedom, it's like, where am I to be right now? And even if it's not doing something, that's the structure I like, because it's priority of what you're putting in your body and how you're moving your body, which is everything.
And it changes the people around you. My kids got to see mom taking care of mom. And that was a priority, and that it turned me, I was a much better person with
Overall.
myself taken care of. Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, we're gonna put a pin in this. I love this growth conversation. We're gonna go do our intentions and see you back at 10 to the hour. Have fun and be productive. Okay, so we are at the bottom of the second grow hour. And before we went to our intentions, we were talking about the Live Hard program and specifically the 75 Hard program, talking about mental toughness and how Sister B and I were sharing that that really has helped us grow in how we show up really in our life, like all aspects, because it is about mental toughness and showing up for yourself. And so we were talking about anything that is, really coming to mind about how we know that we have grown. Like what has been something in your life that has built out that growth for you that has really been supportive? Does anyone have anything on that topic before we try and shift or anything? So anything that has been like a building block in your growth that you would like to share, we would love to hear if anything has been life-changing for you. Yeah, Sister B.
Well, I just have one more thing. So I was reading that book,
Yeah.
that I'm reading that book, Untamed, and she uses the phrase a lot, and I use it all the time, is I can do hard things. And so now, even after that, doing the 75 hard, like I can honestly say and feel good about, like, I can do hard things because it's something that was big out here and that I did. So I really like that as a building block for me, is when I look at something like, hang on, I can do hard things. I can do, so just to share a little bit, because I love how you put it out there, Becky, like, oh, should I really share that I'm doing the 75 hard again, or what have you. And I think putting it out there and bringing it to light is such another huge building block that seems really scary sometimes. But so I decided to, because I really wanted to check something off my bucket list that seemed hard and what have you. So as I phased out of 75 hard, I'm like, there was a sprint triathlon, and I've always wanted to do that. So I set my sights on that for mid-September, and I've been just kind of training to do that. And it's not a race for me. It's kind of a finale of just tying it all together. And I will get through it, at my own pace. I'm not racing anybody. I'm just going for myself because I've wanted to do it for many, many years, and just chickened out, not committed, whatever, not ready. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it. So I'm doing it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. You are doing it. We believe you. And I'm super excited to get to witness that growth and cheer you on in that. And also that you reminded me that in the between time that we were just in, I literally saw this quote and I saved it to my phone because I was like, how perfect, how OP. Imagine how incredible you'd be 1 year from now if you'd stop fantasizing about a better life and actively started building one.
Amen.
And I thought, geez, when I first said yes to the 75 days of commitment, which anyone that doesn't know what it is 2 workouts. And so 2 workouts, one must be outside, one can be inside or outside, it doesn't matter. But the idea is it's 45 minutes of activity for movement in your body. So Beth shared earlier, like walking, swimming, it can be anything. It must be cardio. Originally, when I saw this list of 5 active things to go through your day in this challenge, it's the 2 workouts, a gallon of water. It is sticking to a diet. It is reading 10 pages of a book, no audio. It is a physical book. And then taking a progress picture. And it sounds so easy, but it is mentally checking the things off in your day to know that you're showing up on those aspects for yourself. And I remember thinking when I first heard it, like, that's just crazy. I'm not working out twice a day. I can barely get one in. But then when I reframed it and was like, wait, I'm already going for a walk every day for 45 minutes. That would be adding in one more activity. And my body could really use one more activity to step away from a screen, to step away from what I'm doing and re-energize myself. And this is really for me to get back into yoga to support my back. I have had back issues, and I know that if I'm not actively giving myself stretches, it doesn't happen. So this go around is really specifically so that I get back into the routine of what supports my back, because if my back is aching, I'm no use to anybody, and I have small kids. So that was really like the driving force for me, just to say, to stop fantasizing about my back is going to get better. Well, it's not going to improve unless we put in the work to show up for the improvements to happen. So that was, I loved seeing this quote. I was like, okay, how perfect. So yes, I love it. Anyone else? We have 1 magic minute. Anything coming to mind for anyone else to share?
Well, I just wanted to say that when you say 75 hard, I go, yuck. Hard is not my word, you know? And I'm like, I could see myself doing that, but I also know that my words for my growth are choice and persistence and resilience and not quitting. And so, yeah. I have trouble with mindset and motivation at times when it comes to chocolate, you know, but just like,
I love that. I love your words. And I'm going to just reframe the last part to say, never give up, right? Like, to just never give up, keep showing up, keep making those choices. And that really was a shift for me, in seeing the initial like list of what the structure is of it, to say, well, it doesn't say what diet I have to follow. It doesn't say what movement I must have. It is to show that these are the things that are important for our bodies and our growth. That then I was able to start kind of reframing how I would show up for myself inside of that structure to make it fit what I'm looking for. So I love that you have powerful words that you live by that guide your daily life, Carol. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, we're going to put a pin in this and start our next hour. 3 magic minutes to mastermind about growth and anything that is serving you in how you're growing in who you are today, right? Like, this is something about being present with where we are today and knowing that wherever we are, that we are here and that we can choose. I love that Carol shared the word choose, right? Our choices, and that we can choose something better moving forward at any given point. We can choose to shift our mindset from where we are right now to say, okay, I'm taking 1 step towards what you want to strengthen, what you want to build better. And we get to choose that. And now, not saying like, oh, live in the future, but being present and grateful for where you are so that you can decide and choose what is best for you in the moment. And that is progressing towards what you want for the future while still being present. So curious if this is bringing up anything for you to share or ask or mastermind around in these last 2 magic minutes. Anything?
I've got to say that for myself, I have not always accepted the gifts that I have. And I'm really stepping into, I'm the right person for the right thing right now. And my talents as a respiratory therapist and as an Asian body worker, Chinese medicine, Qigong instructor can all blend together, and I can share those. And this weekend it was an affirmation of that. And I'm just like, yeah, this is good. This is who I want to be right now.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Carol, I'm like, my face is on fire for you. That is so awesome to hear. And we believe you, and we know that to be true. And that's beautiful to say, like, that is something that you're stepping into and that you're growing in, right? Mm-hmm. You're growing in the awareness that who you are is who your people need. And you will be showing up for them because you are who they need.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Awesome. Well, that takes us right to 10 after the hour. We will go do our intentions and see those of you that are able to come back at 10 to the hour. Have fun, be productive. Okay, so we are at the last half of the 3rd Grow on Purpose Action Hour, and we're in the mastermind session. And we've been talking about what has been supporting us in our growth and really being able to show up for ourselves. And so, yeah, I mean, this is the month of build. So what are we building intentionally to support our growth? And Susan wanted to know, do you have anything that has came to mind for you that has been helpful in what you're building and how you're growing?
That's an awesome question. I am finding that I love, love, love structure, even though for so much of my life I thought that I hated it. I thought that I was like repelled by it. But I love structure because then creativity can flow. And for me, creativity is growth. So there's a couple things that I've been thinking about that I need to figure out structure around so that I can grow more in it. Like I'm all about, like, when I think of growth, I think of the need. What is there a need for? And if that pivots, then how do we pivot towards that need for growth? Right? Because growth isn't just up. Growth is like, if we look at trees, the branches go out. They don't go just straight up, but they go
Mhm.
out and their roots grow out. You know, if you had a tree that its root only went one way and the trunk only went one way and the branches only went one, it would never, like, it would fall.
Then maybe just visualize the sunflowers that
Oh yeah.
Carol was sharing, because sunflowers really only go straight up. But what happens when they get to a certain point? I'm sure they break.
Yeah, when they get too tall, or when they get too, like, when
Yeah.
when things don't have dimension, you know, when things don't have roots that grow in the dip. So I wonder, this would be super interesting. I wonder what sunflowers roots look like
Yeah.
to be able to hold them. And the sunflower's face always follows the sun. It always follows the light. Did you know that?
I think I've heard you tell me that before, or
Yeah.
I've heard you say that on something. I was like, I didn't know that before, but I've heard you say that.
Yeah. So like, so it literally follows the sun, and then it looks like it's sleeping at night. And then it follows the sun. And so if you think of that, like, just even in building and in growing our roots deep, no wonder why we're multifaceted, and no wonder why, you know, life is more fun when there's more going on than just one thing, staying focused on one thing. Because then our roots get to grow deep. And so being able to ask ourselves, what are the needs for us to build around, for us to grow in? That's what I've been focusing on lately, is that there's an idea that I have in my mind that I cannot get out of my mind, and it is not ready. It is far from being ready to be released yet, but wondering if it's a distraction or if it's another branch, you know, that needs to grow and that needs to be built upon and that needs to, you know, have that. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
That's a really great thought to think of, because we are always, you know, having things come in and out. There's always other people's ideas that we're like, oh, okay, that could be something. And then something that we've been talking about through this month of build
Yeah.
is, you know, how do we intentionally know when it's the right time
Yes.
to, you know, give our focus to that branch, you know, to move towards the light of the thing that we have on our heart and our mind to do. And that might actually be what it is. What I just said is your heart first. So
Yeah.
like, is the thing that is keeps showing up, is it something that your heart is telling you, or is it only your mind? You know, maybe
Right.
that's something.
Right. And like we had talked about before, there have been many masterminds about, like, is it a foundational thing that will be able to last, or is it just redecorating a room? You know, is it something that is, you're laying the foundation so you can build strong on the idea or on the place, you know, like, is it a foundational idea, or is it a, like, change of scenery idea or something? So that's what I've really been going through with, like, structure and building, is that there's this thing that has been on my mind and it will not go away. And So seeing what does that look like with foundational things to be able to move forward and fulfill a need. So
Very cool.
that's what's been going on in my life.
Lots of roots and growth and things moving, which is good. I mean, we do need the movement and to give air to the ideas to, kind of put pen to paper to see, is it needing to be developed more, or is it just something that's coming and going? But if it keeps showing up, there's generally something that needs to be looked at
Yes.
to further see like how deep is that root? How deep is it to know, is it foundational, and ask those
Right.
questions. So I love the conversations that have been happening this month around building and staying focused on what we're growing in our life to know if it's foundational or if it's a change of scenery.
Yeah.
So I love that. Thanks, Suze. And thanks for
Yeah.
everyone tuning in into the Grow Hour Masterminds. Have a great day.